just as a calibrator, I want to just remind ourselves that it's essential to live life with a dream. It's essential to live life with some kind of vision. If you don't have a dream and you don't have a vision, you need to, with immediate urgency, you need to begin to make yourself available, make time available, and just start somewhere. Start writing down what is the desires of your heart right now. Just start to make notes. Even if you don't act on anything in the meantime, just begin to write about living in the mind of God's possibilities. If you live in the mind of God's possibilities, then at least you're beginning to think about something that is a dream for your future. Lydia was going about her business. She was a trader throughout Asia of silks and fabrics and beautiful things, and she had a reputation. And she opens her heart and receives Jesus at the preaching of the gospel by the Apostle Paul. Perhaps Luke said some things, perhaps Silas said some things. It's not clear from the book of Acts that it was only Paul that was preaching, but it's probably most likely just Paul that was speaking. But she opened her heart to the gospel. And she invited and urged them and persuaded them to come to her house. Now, if I go to the book of Philippians, which is Paul writing to Lydia, writing to the people in Philippi where he had met them, I'm going to just start reading in Philippians chapter 1 from the New Living Translation, verse 3. And he says, "Every time I think of you, I give thanks to my God. Whenever I pray, I make requests for all of you with joy." This is based on the fact that he spent time in Philippi. "For you have been my partners in spreading the good news about Christ from the time you first heard it until now. And I am certain that God, who began the good work within you, will continue his work until it is finally finished on the day when Christ Jesus returns." Now, remember, Lydia's on the banks of the river. She hears the gospel. She opens her heart to the gospel. She receives Jesus. When she makes the commitment to Jesus, she says, "Now that I'm a Christian, come and stay in my house." They're a little unsure at first, so they had to be persuaded. They ended up spending quite considerable amount of time in Philippi, and there were events that occurred because of their presence there. I don't want to get into that too much, but I do want to say that immediately they went to her house, she took care of them. She fed them, she gave them a place to stay. They had the opportunity to perhaps wash and have certain human things taken care of so that they could go about and walk about the city and preach the gospel and make themselves known to the people of Philippi and, of course, Macedonia. Because people would come in and out of Philippi and they would go to other cities in the nation of, in the region of Macedonia. And Paul says this, when I think of you, I give thanks to my God. I give thanks to my God that from the first time you heard it until now, you have been my partners. So from the first time they heard it and they went into her house, they became partners. That means from the moment they entered her house till the writing of this letter and beyond, it's a powerful thing that happened, and it didn't take very long. The minute that she started giving finances, giving them a place to stay, helping them to be nourished, helping their hygienic needs, she provided for them. These are important elements. And Paul says, from the first time till now, you have been my partners. And he says next, and I'm certain that God, who began the good work, when did that good work begin? When they were at the riverbank And at the river bank, she heard, she received. From that moment, the God who began the good work within you will continue his work until it is finally finished. Wow. What a thing that you would have someone like the Apostle Paul write about you and write a letter to the whole of the Philippian church that would become something that we could live our lives by, because you opened your heart to the Lord and you became a partner with someone who's a special messenger. What a great thing. Dreams, visions, they are a big part of what God does for us in our lives. Thank you for joining me today.